We'll call this meeting to order. Will you please stand and join me for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
There's the show. May I have a roll call, please?
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan. Here. Rodriguez.
Here.
Hill,
Here.
Scharf,
Here.
Kurtz.
Here.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, I need a motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
I'd like to make one comment about that. I'd like to see us amend that agenda for the email that Holly Quarkery sent to us on September 7th and go back into that and do a revote. That's going to cost us money in attorney fees if we don't do something with it. And our attorney fees are outlandish right now.
What item are you referring to? What agenda item are you referring to?
I think you just have to look it up because I don't think I can say it. Private email.
September 7th?
September 7th.
You don't even know what item it is on the agenda itself?
It's not on the agenda, it's an email. It was voted down 6-1.
Not sure if it's not an,
Uh,
if it's not
I
an
think
agenda
I-
item, how can we
I'm
change
asking it to
the
be amended
agenda?
to be put on the agenda.
I think the,
Can't put on anything on the, we can take things off the agenda, we can't put them on the agenda because we haven't had sufficient notice to the public. We could put on the agenda, we could put something on the agenda for the next meeting if you want to bring that up prior to that.
So can we have that put on for next meeting?
uh,
I think you can clarify
if it's the
maybe.
agenda item that I believe that you want to discuss, the council's rules do not permit it for reconsideration. If it were going to be reconsidered, it would have to be brought back up from somebody that voted in the affirmative to reconsider, and that would have to be at the same meeting, so at this point, it's not timely, so it is not eligible for reconsideration.
Well, then I'm going to say city plan and spend them some lawyer fees unnecessarily.
Well, the motion that's on the floor and seconded is to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Next on the agenda is public comment. Do you have anything that was sent in? Don't see any.
The only thing that I have received is coming up and down the agenda.
Okay. Next item on the agenda then is a motion to accept and approve the consent agenda that approves the following: minutes of the August 23rd, 2021 regular meeting, Pat's Tap Class C liquor license renewal, outdoor service, Sunday sales, and living quarters, September 1st, 2021 through August 31st, 2022.
So moved. Second.
Do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next on the agenda is approval of claims for payment.
I'd make the motion to approve.
Second.
I got one question about that. It's about the lawyer fees of $28,000. We need to have a breakdown of this I've asked for this before, of what that money is being spent on. That's a lot of money.
There is a breakdown probably at city clerk's office of it,
We
so,
have all the bills there.
yeah.
Can we get emails about that or anything, or? It should be public knowledge. The public should know.
Have Dorsey and what?
Agreed.
I agree.
Or is it the Dorsey and Whitney ones?
It says Dorsey and Whitney, 28,000.
That's in regarding the bonds. All the services they've done for the bonds and stuff, so that's what that one's for.
So their bonding preparation and packaging cost us $28,000.
That's correct.
Or how many departments was that for?
Well, that was 2.7 million on one and 1.14 million on the other one, so it would be the two bond issues that we did in particular. That would be the vast majority of that.
Juan, you're in the financial business. I don't want to put you on the spot, but
How much total now? Million? 3 million?
3 point,
8,
yeah, 3.8 million, round numbers.
That says that, and here it was for Parks and Rec and Water Department, multiple projects.
That'd be streets, Parks and Rec for CIP, trails, Water Department, and I believe there is a revenue bond that we did for water, and then we had the sewer in that as well for,
The Highway 150 project.
correct.
That fee equates to 3/4 of the which I don't feel is that much for our street. It's pretty cheap. Usually it's 1% of that. So 0.75% is pretty cheap for that service.
They're also required to provide a couple of statements for us because these are tax exempt bonds. Those statements have to be put out for those people that are bidding on it so that they in fact can take that out and have that, enjoy that tax exempt status. You know, there's two people that you can use primarily in the state of Iowa, Ellers and Dorsey. I don't think you're going to find much difference in between those two as far as their bond fees go for doing this type of work.
Yeah, I haven't seen the bill and can't defend it, but I can tell you that that's very, very specialized work. And the fact that you only have two firms in the state that provide it, I think is testament to that. And you're not going to get bond work at my rates. It's going to be considerably more because it's just supply and demand. You've got two firms and a handful of attorneys in the whole state who are even qualified to do it.
And we were able to get some really good interest rates when we did those bond issues that saved us some money in the long run. And
Fair
didn't
amount
want
of
to,
risk in issuing bonds from a legal perspective, so they have
Yeah.
to comb through that stuff pretty well.
it wasn't one end up being bought by one of the local banks.
Bank
So we
Iowa.
kept it local too.
oh,
So-
that was the 1.1.
1.1 was
Yeah.
local. I don't know for sure.
Thought it was NSB.
I did too, but I'm not sure which one, but it was local.
So that's the explanation for that particular line item. Anything else? Okay. I do have a motion and a second to approve the claims for payment. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next item on the agenda is the revenue and expenses to date that the city clerk gives out for your information. If you
Thank
have
you,
any-
Suzie. That's helpful stuff.
Yeah, it's
You're
nice.
welcome.
Yeah, it's really appreciated that you do that. Okay. Next on the agenda is a public hearing in regards to the American Rescue Act funding. So I need a motion to receive and file proof of publication to notice of the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Next, I need a motion to hold the public hearing.
So moved.
Second.
Do have a motion and a second to hold the public hearing. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are in public hearing in regards to input from the public for the American Rescue Act funding.
Is this the 954,000 that we're,
It's about 915,000, I think, 916, somewhere in there, but yes. And we are required to take public input on ideas or options for expending this money before we expend it, and try and, include the public to the extent that they wish to be included.
in getting my paper signed for reelection here this, I've touched base with 75 people. The common theme is our levy is too high. And they would, once I bring up this money, they suggest, I said, we can't use it for debt reduction. We can use it for projects that would have been on the docket for budgeting for next year and take that money out, not budget for that. Like,
Some projects, not, it's not a blanket of any
no,
project.
but like for the paving, the crack and seat. that would-
No.
Why?
It is not eligible for paving that I can find anyplace else. You can do water infrastructure, you can do sewer infrastructure.
I read it. Okay.
Well, if we can find something that will clarify it, that'd be great, but water and sewer, but I haven't found anything that lets me put the street back in on top of water and sewer infrastructure, same as storm sewer. The eligible uses besides the water, sewer, storm sewer, the ambulance subsidy, for example, would be an eligible cost. Lost revenues, childcare, if you're, in certain cases, providing childcare, making childcare services available where they currently are not. Paying delinquent water bills, for example, would also be eligible. Delinquent mortgages would be an eligible expense.
It can't be anything, it'd be a recurring expense. It has to be a one-time deal, right?
Would Primarily, although, I mean,
I mean, you couldn't
reoccurring is.
use it to add a police officer or anything like that.
No, no. The ambulance subsidy, the reason I'm hesitant, the ambulance subsidy, I could use that for a number of years up to, but not beyond the date of when this money has to be expended, December 31st of 2026.
That's a five-year window.
Well, it's 22 right now, so as of today, we're down to 4 years and realistically 3 years of expenditure based on the federal fiscal year.
Was there anything in there in regards to businesses that had difficulty because of the COVID and stuff to help them or support them in any way?
It can be used to assist businesses that had lost revenues. Restaurants were specific in the list for businesses.
Is there anyone out there that wants to step up and speak up for anything that they would like to, or at least question whether we can utilize it or not? This is required by the getting the grant, is that we do need to get public input, so this is the opportunity for people to do that.
Have we had any written communication from
I-
anyone?
I do have 2 that I've received. The Celebration Committee had requested that the council considered lost revenues for nonprofits. A little bit more of a blanket, but we have some nonprofits that had lost revenues during the pandemic. And the chamber had asked that we look at Bremer Park upgrades. It's kind of a broad brush there. I'm not sure what would be eligible in that, and I'd have to do some more research on Bremer Park to find out what we can put in there, but those were the 2 pieces of public input that I've received. Beyond what I've already mentioned with the ambulance subsidy and the stormwater project.
The city lost revenue through the Park and Rec lost money, and so did the library during the pandemic.
That's correct. However, if I follow the model of lost revenue that we're required to use, I do not have a lost revenue because our local option sales tax actually increased. Well, we lost revenue in other areas. I have to take all of that combined, and we did not lose revenue. Based on the way that they make us calculate it.
So their funding formula would,
We did not have lost revenues. We've been through this. We went
where
down there.
were you reading the bill from? I mean, are you,
Well, I read the one that the president signed.
right,
Yeah.
okay.
I think we had it in an email too. I did read it.
It's not as clear as you would like it to be, or I would like it to be. It's somewhat convoluted, and it includes a lot of the federal funding mandates that go with that. But they are very specific in how you calculate the lost revenue, and I've been through this with 2 different webinars, talking with the state and trying to walk through what I can do to justify lost revenue. and we aren't going to be able to claim lost revenue.
But stormwater sewer, we could use it for that?
We can use it for water, water, sewer, and storm sewer infrastructure.
Sounds like a good place to put it.
Well, now, tonight is not the decision. Tonight is your public input that you're required to do. Based on what we have here, we'll confirm how we can use that money, make sure that we're staying in line with it, because this is, they've been very explicit in the fact that they will come back. We will have to verify where we spent this and the fact that it was spent according to allowable sources. So it will be audited specifically on this.
Should be.
Shouldn't be any problem.
No, I agree. I just want to make sure that we don't go down a road where we have any question with that. And then the council, by December 31st of 2024, you have to make your final commitment of the funds. You don't have to spend it by then, but you have to commit it by then. So we have a little bit of time to get it fully committed and then spent by
But
December
we
of.
use one part of it now. I mean, like for 150 South, the water sewer.
No, because we've already got that, we've already levied for that, or issued debt for the water and for the sewer and for the storm sewer. So the only thing I have there is debt service, and that's not allowed. Those are already funded.
We have to pay for the engineering fees.
Yes. But again, we already have that accounted for. So the only thing left on the Highway 150 project would be debt service, and no, you can't use it
I
for
know
that.
that.
So since we have not started any stormwater projects or levied any debt, that's why it's something that hasn't been done yet.
Correct. To Mike's point, if we're going to use it for a project, it has to be a project that we have not initiated, we have not put the financing in place for. So it will be something that is, it might be in our long-range plan, but it's not on the books today as a project.
Okay, so we're having the public hearing tonight. Is it possible, since we don't have to let them know how we're spending it, that the public can contact city clerk or city manager and make suggestions in the future before this is finalized as exactly how we're spending it?
As long as we have a chance to bring it back to the council for final approval, yes.
Okay.
Okay.
Now, you said nonprofits, do they have to submit a loss of income?
They will have to demonstrate where they had a loss of revenue, correct?
So rather than just saying every nonprofit can submit, can we say a portion of the money can be used for that?
Well, absolutely. You can, I mean, the council has the right to divvy this up in, pretty much any manner we choose, but the argument of lost revenue, you have to document what you lost for revenue and be able to track that. Some cases it'll be easier than others, but it does have to be something that you can track.
So it can be audited when the feds come back through as to how we spent it.
Well, not only that, but how did that loss of revenue, how was that calculated and justified?
Does it specify that time period?
It does not have, I believe it does, but I won't go back to it. The last CARES Act was through December of 2020, so I don't know how far before that it goes or how far back they'll let us take that specifically, but we want to look into timing.
Since it doesn't have to be spent for like 5 years, hopefully the federal government will kind of change some of their regulations and guidance too, from what they have now. It seems pretty strict and,
Can we incur income from this money if we don't spend it right away?
I'll ask. At
Just
at 0.5% interest, I'm not sure that it would be classified as income, but.
anyone else? Hearing nothing now, I will ask for a motion to close the hearing and receive and file oral and written comments.
Second.
Do we have a motion and a second? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion is carried. Okay, next on the agenda is a motion to approve a resolution that appoints Dave Needard as the Independence Police Chief. He is here. I will ask him to come forward, introduce yourself, and anything you'd like to share about yourself.
Dave Needert, live here in Independence, Iowa. I can't think of any of you that I don't know and haven't talked to before in one way or the other. When I left here, it's been just about 5 years ago, to go to the Oelwein Police Department. It was actually October 26th of 2016. I decided that this was still my home. Obviously, I'd built a house here and made a family life here. My kids are all Mustangs. Some of you have coached them. Some of you have refereed them. And so I stayed here. This has been my community. I've been involved in this community ever since I left. So when this job came up, it was actually a toss-up for me at the time, because I loved my job in Oelwein. I loved my boss up there. He had given me a home, and my retirement calendar was set. And it was set because I enjoyed it up there. But just as for the reason I left Independence, or to go to Oelwein, I went ahead and applied for this job because of the challenge of it, and something that I feel I can make a difference at. So that's why I applied, went through the process, and I'm happy to be standing before you here today.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the resolution that appoints David Needard as our new police chief. for
Second.
Independence.
I got just one comment to make. I think you'll do us a good job, but only 2 council people were involved in that decision, and there's 7 of us sitting here. I don't think that was a fair issue. Brian Lau did us a wonderful job stepping up to the plate. I heard good comments from the police officers, from the public, and to be honest, I was disappointed that Brian didn't get it. Being we had no other comments to make, so this is where I'm making them.
And I would say Captain Lau did a great job for you. Just as when I applied, I think about 10 years ago when you were mayor, Carl, it's all about right time, right place, certain things, certain reasons behind different decisions. And the difference between Captain Lau and I is probably minimal, but I would not stand here at all and tell you the reasons why I don't think that Captain Lau could have been your chief. I agree, but there was something there, and I guess, and that's where it ended up. But I've already spoken with Captain Lau. I've spoken with a lot of the guys here because I've been on with them, and the relationship has continued. We've actually worked together over the past 5 years many times, and I've already spoken with Captain Lau and continue on. So, and I do agree with you. He has done a fine job in the past 5 months, and I would commend him for that. And I would say that already through a minimal discussion that we've had at this point, it'll be a great moving forward team together. I actually trained him when he came on as a practicum student with us when I was a sergeant. So I have no doubt that we'll continue to work together. And my retirement calendar was set at 2 years, but it's going to continue on a little bit more than that. But I'm sure that he'll be ready when I go the next time.
And to clarify, I could not have all council members on for doing interviews. We had 5 candidates. I selected or asked both John Kurtz and Bob Hill, who are at-large council members elected by the majority of the community, both having experience in doing hiring, things of that degree. Worked out well. We asked the same questions of all 5 candidates. We scored them, and in doing the scoring, Mr. Needard is the one who came up on top. That's why I am bringing him forward to you as our next police chief. We do have a motion and a second, so I will ask for a roll call, please.
Callahan?
Yes.
Rodriguez?
Yes.
Hill?
Yes.
Scharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
O'Laughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Thank you. Motion carried.
Thank you.
We'll work out a date for the swearing in
I've got some
situation.
dates for you. I'll give you at the end.
Okay, sounds great. Thank you very
Thanks,
much,
Dave.
Dave. Okay. Next on the agenda, engineer for nutrient study. Motion to approve resolution awarding nutrient reduction strategy study 2, and you need to fill in the blank as to which one of the firms that submitted their applications.
Remember the name?
Do you need a referral, refresher course?
I knew
Call
it
a
was,
friend.
I knew it was an S.
There you go. Stand by me.
That's the name? No. So do I hear a motion to,
I'll make a motion for Strand.
Second.
okay. So we do know which one it is. Okay, then I will ask for a roll call, please.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes,
Callahan. Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried.
Is there a not to exceed amount within this, the scope of this?
In the proposal, it is a set fee to do the
Saw that.
study. So it is,
That's the parameter?
that is the parameter.
Okay.
This is, it's not like a project, it is a set agreement for the fee.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is, I need a motion to approve the list of the fire department items for disposal.
are these gonna be sold?
I don't know how many of these units are worthy of selling or recycling, disposing of. They are items that they felt like they had on their list that they want recognized as no longer being in inventory.
Is it something we could donate to a small department or something, like some of the rural departments?
I guess I'd ask Roger, I think he's back there, I don't know if we can, I don't know if there's value left in these for donating. I think there are some things that, if they're worthy of donating, that we'll take that up with the fire department, but a lot of it is probably not worth moving on to somebody else.
Perhaps someone could go to that Restore and like in Waterloo, Al, if there's anything that, I don't know, I am not looking at the stuff, I'm just going by the list, but.
Roger, what do you think? Is some of this worthy to donate to, like to
Some
small?
of the stuff is going to, the.
Will you come?
We need to have you come forward, Roger. I know you don't like to do that, but please, appreciate it so everybody can hear
At the
you.
county meeting, we was approached by the Hazelton Fire Chief that, where we have been very blessed by our community and the council for getting us good gear. There's like fire departments in Missouri that they don't have anything. I mean, they're just regional fire departments that just pretty much just very small communities. A lot of our stuff can get moved to those guys. And it was just like they were going to be bringing up pickup trucks. We just got to find out what we can get to Hazelton, and that's going to be kind of the pickup point for that. Some of the other stuff that we have that, like our old set of Jaws, I know that they have approached like Raleigh to see if they would be interested in it, which we mutual aid with, so it would be good benefit that it would help them out, but we'd still be able to get some use out of it.
Benefit.
You know, yeah, it's benefit, yeah, so it's just like, because we,
Well, that was the reason I asked. A lot of small departments like Stanley and those all could use some of
Yes,
this
yeah.
stuff, I'm sure.
but our county has really been very good with like getting some grants and stuff like that, so it's just like, but that's some of the smaller, they're just township fire departments that just, they can't apply for grants or anything like that, and they're going in there like, with just regular clothes on and fighting fires from a long distance away, you know, it's like rescues aren't possible that way, so it's like, even though it's outdated for us, it would be better than nothing for them, so.
And legally, you have to have this council's approval to even consider any of these options and such.
Right, this stuff
But
is
it's not
still
something you're
in
making.
our
This is
inventory.
not a money-making thing that you're doing.
No,
This is
no,
strictly
no, it's not
cleaning
gonna-
house and passing.
Most of the
things
stuff
on
was going to be
others.
donated to other departments.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Roger.
Thanks, Raj.
I make the motion, we allow the fire department to dispose of these items.
Second.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to allow the fire department to make that decision. Do we need a roll call, or does it matter?
I didn't put one.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. Thank you. Next on the agenda is WWTP farm lease. The recommendation action is a motion to approve a 3-year renewal of the farm lease for Kyle Zeser.
Did we reach out to see if anybody else wanted to bid on those?
We have not. Kyle's lease runs through March of next year. September is the month that we have to let them know if we're going to terminate a lease. The land, it's about 23 acres of tillable that's around the wastewater plant, mostly sand. This one is not as valuable as the one at the airport, so it's about $175 an acre, roughly, for the fee. But we have not reached out to anybody else at this point for this lease.
Do you happen to know the CSR on it?
I do not know that.
That's why I would, in situations like this, I'd like that information beforehand, because the CSR dictates the rental.
And this has been the same rental rate that we've had for the last one.
That's all well and good, but
Is there a date on when this does have, if it's at least, when do we have to let him know by? If we're going to not do it with him?
I believe it's September 15th.
Okay.
I'd make a motion, we advertise it. He has the option then to resume his operation through bidding on it, or choose not to.
I'd second his motion.
Okay, so the motion before us is to advertise this lease to see who's eligible, and then he would have to resubmit his offer too.
Could I just suggest that that be rephrased to be a motion to terminate the existing lease and then to put it out to, or
For bid.
for bid, or however.
Well, that makes definitely more sense.
Okay,
Yeah.
It made the bid include the specific number of tillable acres, the corn suitability rating or CSR, because those are two factors that'll, because I know of a number of people, particularly two of them out in that, three of them out in that area, who rent small tracts of land like this. And I've never heard of one of them for $175 an acre, but maybe they have.
So his current lease is up in February, is that
No,
correct?
September.
Well, his
According-
current lease ends the end of February,
Right,
but the state of Iowa requires that we provide notice in September,
correct.
because that allows them to make a decision as to what they're going to put on the field for fertilizer or treatment, if you will, during the fall.
so you do have a motion in front of you and a second to terminate the current lease at the end of February and to open this up to others? Is that correct?
Correct.
Open it up for bid. yeah.
And I would like a roll call on this, please.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes,
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan.
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Okay, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is a motion to approve the tax abatement application from Echo Development, which is the apartments out on an urban renewal area.
This application is in front of the council for your consideration to determine whether or not Echo Development has met the conditions set out in the revitalization plan, have they built the facilities that they said they were going to build, be eligible for the tax abatement? This approval is then forward to the county assessors so that they are enjoying the abatement of 5 years at 100%, 5 years at 70%, as approved in the urban revitalization plan.
So for 5 years, we make no money off that.
That's correct.
Why wouldn't we do the one we've been doing, the 100%, 90, and on down for 10 years?
Under this project, it was requested because they were putting in that size of a development in the urban revitalization plan. It's not a tax rebate in that 90, 80, 70 that we've been doing. This is a tax abatement in order to let them recoup some of their investment in the housing development prior to paying taxes. The land taxes, for clarification, are never abated. The land will always have a tax on it. It's the improvements on the land that is being abated here. But that was their request to put in the 48 units, roughly $3 million.
Okay, and just to clarify, that is the workforce development for
No.
bringing?
No.
This is the existing one that's up
This-
there.
Oh, they
This
just,
is
This is the existing one. They built it, now it's on the tax rolls, now they're asking to confirm that they did what they said they're going to do and enjoy the abatement that they're entitled to.
and we
And the-
offered that to them already?
We've already
The-
offered
The
that.
abatement's already been approved, and the buildings then were built, and now you have to approve this level so it goes to the auditor or the treasurers to actually give them the
And
abatement.
this parking lot issues be all,
This is,
There is no parking lot
This
issue
is
with
not the
this
same.
one.
this
This
is
is-
completely separate.
this is the current
It's up there
apartments
now.
that are
It's
already
done.
out there
Okay.
built and
Yeah.
were filled
I got you.
within a very
okay,
short time.
I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'd make a motion to approve the tax abatement application for Echo Development.
Second.
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve. I need a roll call, please.
Scharf,
Yes,
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the I is the biannual bridge inspection, a motion to approve seasonal, oh, that's the wrong place. Wrong page. Motion to approve IIW proposal for biannual bridge inspection.
So moved.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. May I have a roll call, please?
Kurtz,
Yes.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez.
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf.
yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next is a motion to approve the seasonal sewer averaging program for sewer service.
Second.
I do have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
Just to clarify this, when, this has been going on over the summer, or this will be going on, I've watered all summer and haven't seen any reduction.
Correct. The way it was identified when we first started is, well, I take that back. They've been reading your meter during the course of summer. I think the gentleman has been around. The sewer deduct should be showing up all summer as it has been. We had originally talked about having you pay your water bill all summer and then get the sewer deduct
In November.
in November with an October reading. That wasn't practical. They've continued to read the meters over the course of the summer, and I think Kevin shared with us last Monday that the credits have been showing up. But moving forward, they're going to do the averaging over the course of the winter, so next summer, that's the baseline that they use.
So if anyone's got an issue, it's called the light plant, right?
Right, they're the ones that are doing the meter reading and the calculations on that. The one thing that Kevin did clarify for me is if you've got a plumbed-in secondary meter, in other words, if it's in your house already, you will actually pay actual water charges for the water you use and get credit for the sewer on the gallons that you use for your secondary meter, if it's hardwired in. These are for the portable meters. The majority of the meters that are used for lawn watering are portable. You take them out, and you put them on at the beginning of the summer, and you take them off in the fall. That's who would benefit from this. And this is being extended to all residents. It's not just those with meters. This would be for anybody that does lawn watering with or without that secondary meter.
So Al, just for the benefit of the public, can you just summarize how Kevin described how the billing would work on this as far as the averaging, just for benefit of the public?
So those that do not have a baseline for a water consumption year-round, they would receive a 4,000 gallon per month base rate. And we get to summer, you use 6,000 gallons because you're watering your garden, your lawn, what have you. You would pay the lower of the estimate or actual meter read for water as it relates to that sewer charge associated with our water usage. Sewer bills are based off of water consumption. And so it's the sewer bill, or the sewer portion of your bill that would be reduced to reflect this. You will always pay the full meter charge for water used. But they would calculate the sewer fee based on the lower of that 4,000 gallon base charge or what you actually meter in water over the course of the summer.
So this would eliminate the need for people to have the portable meters.
No more portable meters to maintain, to put in, to take out, and it also reaches all of our residents instead of just those that happen to reach out and secure a secondary meter.
Would there be any chance that, kind of like the fire department, we could recycle these if people just turn them into the light plant or waterworks? I mean,
Yeah, I think they can be recycled. I don't know that we have a lot of use for them because we've, in the process of changing out all the meters in the city, they really have become obsolete now for us, but I can check with Travis as to how do we recycle, or where does he go with that, or if there's another repurpose for them.
there might be other communities that aren't going to the systems we are.
The only one thing might be new construction, possibly using it to water sod or something on new construction property.
It could be, and again, options that we have for these portable meters. Just for clarification, though, these portable meters are primarily older meters. A lot of the meters that we've taken out around town are in the neighborhood of 20 and 30 years old, so there is some limited life left in them, but that is a possibility.
Still spins pretty fast.
It's kind of like, well, we'll leave that alone.
So we do have a motion and a second? Okay, roll call, please.
O'Laughlin,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
Yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
Thank you, motion is carried. Next on the agenda is Highway 150 change request, a motion to approve the Highway 150 change request for the amount of, do we have an amount in there?
Yes.
Is that the total amount?
$2,420.28.
Is that the total that they submitted to be reimbursed?
Well, that was based on the fee per pound and the pound.
But I
that
mean,
they-
that's what they,
Yeah.
and it was brought to my attention that had they used other units that are listed in the contract, it could have cost us more than the $2,400. So we actually, this $2,400 was less than what it could have been as far as what they could use. So they used this in hopes of attempting to not cost as much for this.
That's not what we're told in Public Works. I'd make the motion to pay him half that money.
Based on what I was told, I think we probably, for future goodwill, I would pay the full thing.
You do have a motion on
I
the
have a
table.
motion to pay them half of it. Is there a
okay.
second to that motion?
I'll second.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second to pay half of the amount for the highway change request. Roll call, please.
Question, what, if
Question?
this gets voted down, can we reconsider a different amount?
Then you can make a motion to
Okay,
approve
just so
the
they
full
get
amount.
something out of it.
But this motion was made first, so
Okay.
we have to accept it. So we have a motion and a second to approve only half of it. Roll call, please.
Hannah,
Yes.
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
No.
Hill,
No,
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz,
No.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
4-2,
4-3.
4-3, okay. So it did pass at half of the amount?
That's correct.
Okay. Next on the agenda is motion to direct staff to implement stormwater planning efforts.
This was a discussion, we were asked to put this on here so that the council would provide staff direction on where you want us to go with our stormwater utility planning, where do we go next. Addressing stormwater issues in the city. It really stems from a conversation at Public Works where we had a couple of businesses approach us and say, put it here first. But again, the stormwater utility is generating revenue, it's coming in. The next phase in this is to start picking our projects, if you will.
I'd make a motion to direct staff to implement the stormwater planning efforts in the northeast where we're having the water issue.
I second that.
Okay? May I have a roll call on it, please?
Callahan,
Yes.
Rodriguez,
Yes.
Hill,
yes.
Scharf,
Yes.
Kurtz.
Yes.
O'Laughlin.
Yes.
Hannah.
Yes. We do this sooner rather than later.
Thank you, the motion did pass. Motion to approve DOT Aviation Grant Agreement.
This is a grant agreement for $297,627. It's an 85% match through the Iowa DOT Aviation Division for taxiway and apron improvements at the airport. This is in the airport CIP, and this is the next step to move this project forward.
What was the airport board's discussion on that?
This was approved by the airport board in the CIP. I mean, it's the next project in the airport CIP. The 15% is in the city's CIP for funding our share, our cost share to this. This will fill in the grass area, or a portion of the grass area in the north end of the T hangars, which provides more taxiway space, more clearance in the tarmac area, so we have more usable space there. It also moves the taxiway from the tarmac to the taxiway to the runway. It offsets those taxi lanes. So there's not a direct route from, for example, the fuel farm onto the runway, which is a priority for the FAA, so that there has to be a turn in there so planes don't inadvertently drive into onto the runway.
Make a motion to approve this.
Is this in addition to the federal funds that we got 100% approval to?
Yes. Yeah, this is a state FAA versus the federal funding. There's two different pots of money that we have access to.
Right.
This one is the state portion. That's why the 85 versus the 90%, or the 100% that we received for that other project.
So will this dovetail onto the project that we built from the federal money? Will this connect to it?
It'll complement that project, yes. I mean, but again, it's, I don't want to mix it up. It doesn't expand it further south. It's a different approach because we're using existing land north of the T hangars. so we can widen that or move that taxiway further off of Apron.
So this is the area south of the current terminal building?
South of the terminal building, there are two pockets of grassland, stormwater collection area, just in the north end of each tube. We're filling in about half of that, which allows us to move that taxiway further to the south, giving us more space on that large acre area that currently are restricted because of the trees being part of that.
This is totally separate from the crop duster area we're talking about?
Absolutely, yes, completely separate from earmarked funding that is currently in the
Okay, I do have a motion and a second to approve. May I have a roll call, please?
Yes.
Rodriguez? Hill?
Yes.
Sharf?
Yes.
Kurtz?
Yes.
McLaughlin?
Yes.
Hannah?
Yes.
Callahan? Yes.
Last item on the agenda is a motion to approve a letter of censure to be sent by the mayor that requires council's approval.
I make a motion that we don't approve this.
Second.
May I ask that a motion to, help me out, Steve, that,
That it be, that it be stated in the affirmative, motion to approve, then anyone opposed to it would deny.
correct.
And can I change my motion?
Yeah.
I change my motion to
also have a
table
motion,
this and
thank
we
you.
go into a closed session and talk about it.
We can't go into closed session tonight, right?
No,
Not
we
tonight.
cannot. We could go
No.
into closed session at a subsequent meeting.
We
We can
could
take-
make a motion to approve the letter of censure and not pass it.
That is.
And then we could act further at that point. Correct?
My motion's on the floor.
Why would we need to go any further if it's not approved?
Right. That's true.
That would be my struggle with it is, it's kind of a done deal at that point.
Did you make a motion to table it to the next meeting? Is that what your motion was?
And to have a discussion in closed session, because I don't think we can talk about this in open
No,
session.
but if we take it to the next council meeting, if we table it, then we can be set up to go,
Right.
at that point, it becomes public
And
as
be
to
aware,
who.
there's no guarantee that we will get into a closed session because it's at the election of the individual involved, so it will no longer be able to be kept a confidential personnel matter.
It'll become a public information as to who the person is. At this point, by just approving this censure letter, that person's name does not become public. It's strictly a letter sent from me to them. So,
I want to clarify, the motion cannot be to go into closed session. You can make a motion to table, but that would be the end of the motion. Because any closed session would be subject to, Steve covered that, so if it's okay with you, Deb, if you want to table it, that's fine, but that should be the end of the motion.
right,
So as we're sitting here, if nobody makes a motion to approve this, it'll die in the water by itself, correct?
It would,
No first or second, do you see what I'm
we
saying?
do have a motion, though, to table it, which has
Okay, I
not
understand
had a
that.
second yet, right?
correct.
Right. So there's a motion to table this to the next meeting, but it requires a second before that can be voted on.
It'd be fine if it died in the water. We shouldn't be spending lawyer fees, so.
So if the motion itself gets no motion
There's
or
no second,
second,
someone can make another motion instead.
of what?
It fails for lack of a second. So,
The one as far as
So if-
tabling it fails for a lack of,
correct, and then someone can be free to make a different motion.
okay. And if no other motion is made,
Item A.
Let it-
Procedurally, I haven't ever had that situation where people refuse to vote on a agenda item.
We've had it before.
Yeah, we have.
Oh, yeah.
This is independent.
And we've done it at the recommendation of the
Well, I
attorney.
think you either, well, the attorney wasn't me. I think you either table it because you don't want to address the issue, or you vote on it. There's no not voting on it.
Okay, but it has been done.
With
even
no
though
seconds,
By
yeah.
another city attorney, evidently they're not as smart as you, I guess.
If there's no
Guess
second,
not.
it just dies in the water. How it's always worked before.
Vote no on it.
That's right.
I think the appropriate thing is, if you want to vote no,
Go ahead.
then it takes care of that. If you want to table it, it will take a second, but I think that you want closure one way or the direction on the topic.
Let's go
And
ahead and
legal
vote on it.
counsel, quite frankly, we've given you your options and, left it up to you, quite frankly. I have no,
See, but
I mean-
what you're doing is you're forcing that person that does, he wants to say no, you're gonna make him say, they wanna have a motion to do this. So you're gonna have, do you see
no,
what I'm saying?
if you wanted no, you would vote no.
Yeah, but you're asking a person to make a motion to accept it.
But,
Which is how it's,
Then they can go around and say no, I see what you're
right,
saying.
Yeah.
right. It's just
But
common
it
in
just kind of
procedure
contradicts
that
what
you're.
they think or say.
Why can't it just die in the water? Nobody seconds it. We've done it before.
the incident itself cannot, but devotion can.
I mean, it's on the agenda for action. Be a vote.
Question, if the council doesn't want, can the mayor decide on their own to send a letter?
You can table it indefinitely.
That was not my question. If the council takes no action, do we leave it up to the mayor to decide to do what she wants to?
No, there wouldn't be approval.
Okay, if I want to make sure that we are,
I can't send a letter without,
okay, that's all I want.
But, with the legal option provided, not voting doesn't give you any more protection than voting no. You don't get a pass if an issue comes from this by not voting as opposed to voting no. It's the same result legally.
So if I make a motion and there's no second, then it dies.
I made
Right, if no one's willing to vote on it, yeah, it'll die. I can't force you all to vote. But procedurally, you should vote or table. A table puts it on the table until it's brought off the table. You're not continuing it to the next meeting. You're putting it on you're tabling. If you want to continue it to the next meeting,
I'll make the motion that we vote on the letter.
I'll second it.
Roll call.
So can we have any,
wait, wait, wait.
excuse me,
No.
can we have any discussion on this?
we haven't had an election yet.
No, I mean, I'm asking for,
Oh, okay.
not an aye. I was just
that-
asking you,
thought that
not
was an
not
order.
Susan. No.
I'm sorry, Deb.
Can we have any discussion on this?
We
You
have to-
should not have any
Not
discussion
really,
on
no.
this.
We don't want any names brought up.
This is not public knowledge and should not be discussed to make it public knowledge.
But does everybody actually know what took place or?
Your email.
Email.
You received
That
several.
email didn't tell everything, I'll tell you
You've
that.
received several things from the attorney giving you choices and explanation as to why for each choice. That you've already received long before tonight's meeting.
That email didn't tell us everything.
Can I call the question?
You can call for a second, because I don't think you got a second yet.
No,
Yeah, we did.
John
Did we get a second?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Then I will call for a roll call.
Can
Thank
you,
Bob.
just because we've had so much different discussion, can you clarify your motion again, please?
To vote yes or no on this?
So your motion is to approve the letter of censure to be sent by mayor. That's your motion. And
If you vote yes.
if you vote yes, right, correct.
Hill,
No.
Sharp,
No.
Kurtz,
No.
O'Laughlin.
No,
Hannah,
No,
Callahan. No. Rodriguez.
No.
Thank you. Motion
See,
did
that was
not
easy.
carry.
And it's done.
Just once you get them on the right page here.
I think everyone knew what they wanted to do, and it's done.
Okay, we are down to reports, and I received today, Carl will remember this, the League of Cities does a If I Were Mayor contest for seventh graders. And so the information I just received today that their essay contest is available. Information has already been sent out to seventh grade social studies and English teachers, I believe, or something to that degree. So if you have a child that is a seventh grader, is interested in a possibility of writing an essay to win a small scholarship, that is available at this point, so.
One of the better comments when I got those, that was a really good idea, by the way, and there's several of them, lots of them, really good ones. And I remember this one gal, young gal, she said, Mayor, I'd like you to declare a day for all kids to go into any store, no shoplifting, but provide one item, and the city would pick it up.
Oh,
And that was just a suggestion.
I do think the one year you offered whoever sent the essay and won, that you got, they had a free meal with you.
They did have a free
Yes.
meal, that's correct.
I remember that.
That wasn't that one, by the way.
But this was the contest.
Yeah, that was
you
the
did
contest,
with,
yeah, but not the gal with
yeah.
the free pass.
Yeah.
No, that's correct.
Did you forget, Carl, they can't vote?
Excuse
Oh,
me.
but their parents can. Does anybody else have anything they would like to bring up during the reports? Any committees, any?
did you just
That-
say anything on Halloween hours and stuff?
The city is not having a tricks or treat downtown this year, so I am going to wait before I set the exact date, because Halloween lands on a Sunday, which I don't see any problem with that, but I won't set that until we get closer. We got a whole month away before
I know.
that date has to be set, because it only affects kids going around the downtown, or in throughout the community to door-to-door tricks or treating, so I'll wait on that.
I'd just like to say one thing, not just downtown, but for the whole community as a whole. Shop locally, people, if you can, please. I know we don't emphasize it enough, and we just don't have downtown area. We got businesses all over, everybody knows that. Want to make a comment?
But shopping locally leaves that, pays the taxes locally and helps support your services and your neighbors who own the businesses. So I totally agree with you. Yes. Anybody else have anything?
Question, is there a new sign out at the tree dump where you're supposed to just dump?
They would like you to put different types of yard waste, leaves,
Smaller stuff.
smaller stuff in one area, larger stuff in another. It makes it easier for them as far as managing that out there. So, yes, Todd is trying to get that a little bit more organized. And when we have the large events, it pretty much ends up anywhere. But as much as we can, if we can divide it, it would be. On September 28th, Tuesday, 2 weeks from tomorrow, Independence is hosting the Northeast Iowa Regional League of Cities meeting at Pizza Ranch from 12 to 1. The presentation is on recruitment and retention of police officers.
I'd like to go to that.
we have to re-sign up to go to that, or?
If you let me know, I'll get you signed up for it. You pay for your meal, you can turn your receipt in, but we'll get you signed up so you can be there.
Department heads, do you have anything, Brian? Okay. Roger, anything else for the fire department?
Roger.
No.
See, ignoring me, he doesn't. Okay, I'll
You
take
did a
that
good
as you
job on
have
9/11.
nothing. City clerk, do you have anything else you'd like to add? Okay. Manager? No one else? Hearing nothing, I will call this meeting, oh, no, I will not. I will ask for a motion.
So move.
Motion to adjourn. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same. Motion carried. We are adjourned. Thank you.
I really did not try to bypass you, Bonnie.
Mike?
I
Mike,
had to give you a
Did you
bad
want me to sign
time.
you up for that? Okay.